Welcome everybody to Strike Team Game Presents G4 Experience. Happy Monday night, and welcome back to another fantabulous episode of Gaming News. Yet again, the boys and I are live, straight from Irishguy's living room. Let me introduce who we're here with.
Irishguy, aka Mike.
This is Doc.
And Zmainia.
Welcome everybody to the show. As always, we're going to come back at you with some gaming news that we found out through the week, stuff that you should be inclined of, and updates to any story that we've had. Irishguy, did you want to go first?
I've been rearranging my office, so I have not had a chance to get a whole lot of news. That being said, I'll let you take the reins.
Aha! I've done gaming news a little differently. If you look at the screen,
yeah, I see that.
I've created a PowerPoint.
This is the reason.
Oh my.
Yeah, this is the reason why he was up all night.
Yeah.
Well, this and making his forearm strong.
We don't talk about the latter. So yeah, this is all of my gaming news. Enjoy. Please feel free to talk about it as you see fit. I actually know the first story that's going to be update coming up to first on my list. So the question before I wanted to ask before we get into that is, when was the last time you guys played a Grand Theft Auto game?
Yesterday, maybe the day before.
I want to say it's been a while.
It was Grand Theft Auto 5, but I don't have I'd say probably over a year ago.
For me, I think I want to say probably 3. Or no, 3 was San Andreas, right?
3 was Liberty City.
Yeah, 4. That was 4.
Okay, so mine would be Liberty City. That was the last time I played Grand Theft Auto.
Hot minute.
Yeah.
So the article I have here from Games Radar pretty much talks about a potential Grand Theft Auto 6 release date, news, and rumors that we've heard or speculated at for the past, ever since Grand Theft Auto 5 has come to fruition. Pretty much what they want to know is pretty much what Games Radar is saying. And this is an opinion piece, but I pulled it because I kind of thought that, we haven't talked about Grand Theft Auto. It'd be nice. I felt it was an appropriate time to start talking about it, only because there are so many rumors going around it, and everybody's really, really looking forward to a 6th release. Grand Theft Auto 6 hasn't officially been announced, but according to the leaks, it's been in development for many years now. This shouldn't come as much of a surprise, though. Grand Theft Auto 5 and its associated online multiplayer component, GTA Online, continue to be the most played and most purchased game of all time. So the first question that they actually had was, when could GTA 6 be released? And the chart that you actually see right now is when one Grand Theft Auto was announced, when it was released, and the time period between each one of those.
Keep going with that.
Okay, yeah. So it's sorry, I was like I couldn't hear myself for a minute. It talks about when one game would be announced, released, and the time period in between each of those. Rockstar has a track record, as it were, of announcing a game midway through its development and releasing it just a few months later. And for each one of these, what they're saying is, if Grand Theft Auto 6 was announced the first of the year, 2019, it should have released.
Wouldn't that be Grand Theft Auto 5?
No. So, Grand Theft Auto 6, bottom of the chart. If it was announced.
Oh, if.
Yeah, if it was announced.
Get a laser pointer.
I have one of these doohickeys right here. So if it was announced beginning of the year 2019, it should have been released in 2020 just based on the company's track record, right?
Yeah.
But there was speculation that said that it wouldn't even be here until as late as 2023.
So are you reading this off your phone too?
Yes. Because I can scroll through the stuff and know where I want to go next. And
so you made a PowerPoint and you're not even using the PowerPoint.
oh, for the love of fucking God. It helps me set the tone.
It works for me.
It worked. Yeah, it's for me. My body, my choice. God damn it.
Hey. Good work on it, though.
Thanks.
Yeah,
But
looks good.
Yeah. So anyway, the
My
first
only
question.
complaint is that the font's a little too small.
I don't control the font. I only control the size. That's what she said. So pretty much what the first question is hinting at is that if Grand Theft Auto announces it anytime soon, they're going to have a vague idea of when the game might be released. And right now, the current track record is even if it freaking announces right now, it's not going to be released until 2023.
Wait, I have a question. So wasn't 6 just their online play?
No. So Grand Theft Auto 5 release, then they released Grand Theft Auto Online, the online portion.
Yeah,
And then
it took them about a month after releasing the story before they even brought the online, and that was a bit of a train wreck, to say the least. It took forever to get into a game, and then even if you're in the game, you could just get kicked out due to connection issues. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Okay, so what does everybody play then?
Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah, a lot
Now,
of people
it
are
works
doing
now.
online. Yeah, it just
So
had
what's
some hiccups.
6? I'm so confused.
So
No,
6 is going to be
we're
an
talking
entirely different one.
hypothetical as for when the next one's going to come out. 'Cause
I think it's kind of been announced, hasn't it?
No.
I remember something
No.
about it going back to Vice City.
So that
it's all rumors.
yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is a rumor piece from Games Radar. This is them. This is like a Covidia documenting COVID. So this is Games Radar documenting everything we know about anything speculated or hinted at, quote unquote, when it comes to Grand Theft Auto 6.
Excuse me, sir. Can you stop using big words?
It's going to be a long episode. So that's pretty much what that piece was.
Hey, I'm in a good mood. Okay.
I feel you, but like I'm already like anyway. So, moving on. The latest gossip is Grand Theft Auto 6's release date will sometime 2025, and it comes with a tip that the game is set in a quote modern day version of Vice City that will expand and change over time. So that goes back to your what you were hinting at.
Yeah.
This goes against earlier rumors that stated Grand Theft Auto 6 could launch in October 2023 and be set in Miami. That's from a dubious online source, though, but additional details from a leak, including a single male protagonist with the game being set in the 1970s with a chaptered story like RDR2. Combine that with Rockstar's teasing fans of the official Rockstar support account is telling us to stay tuned for Grand Theft Auto 6 updates on Twitter, and it keeps getting more exciting.
So, do you think they're going to make this one online too, and then you're just going to have 2 different servers?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what they're doing with Grand Theft Auto 5 is they made a single player, they made an online mode, and then with their online mode, they have role play mode, which everybody's been playing. You can actually live in that city.
Oh, I know.
And
I know roleplay more before roleplay mode.
well,
became
for Grand Theft Auto, this is like
prevalent.
new to everybody who
yeah,
plays this game.
No, I know. I know. It, especially within the last month or so, like a lot of people have been doing role play stuff. But I remember watching that with was it Tim
Tim the Tap Man.
Tim the Tap Man, him and Pixa, I can't remember, and then Giant Waffle. They were all like doing. This was like a couple of years ago, of like Pixel or Polaris, I think, had a server or something like that. One of the big role playing people that have servers on almost anything. They're like, oh, new game. All right, let's do a role play for it. You know.
Yeah, but was it an official roleplay server or was it just like their own kind of thing? Where
Yeah,
were
they
just
had their
doing
own
roleplay?
like mods and stuff like that, their own custom mods and everything like
Okay.
that. So, yeah, I've kind of gotten out of the whole thing because they're like, oh, we're all role playing again. I'm like, it's been there, done that.
Right.
A lot. I know a lot of the people that were doing like Among Us, like Falky Ray,
You hear it now, too?
Sykuno, and everybody are. They've been doing a lot of the role play stuff lately.
Yeah, I don't know why it keeps on dropping like that.
Technical difficulties.
So the next
Oh,
question.
wait. You know, I just realized it's not recording here.
So this has been some good pantomime.
It's
Is
all
that
right.
what
We
you're
can keep
telling
on going
me?
because you can get the recording off of that. So,
Okay. As long as
What a
it-
wonderful day to be live. The next rumor,
hey, if you wouldn't live, it would have been all good.
Or at least somebody would have told us it wasn't working pretty quick.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So the next question, of course, was what will the GTA 6 setting be? And it all goes back to a modern day Vice City. And I mean, simply put, that's just what all the rumors are kind of going back to. There's back in 2020, a huge GTA 6 leak emerged on Reddit. User Jack-O-Lantern1982 relayed a grand total of 23 details about Rockstar's upcoming game, as well as confirming that it's in development. They say that its codename is Project Americas, and the game will take place over multiple countries, namely Brazil, in a fictional city based on Rio de Janeiro and Vice City in the U.S. The report suggests that the associated narrative would be heavily influenced by Netflix's Narcos.
See, I could still see them almost attaching Grand Theft Auto 5 online.
I was thinking about that, especially as like currently, this might have been a couple releases ago, or updates ago, I should say. They introduced a submarine heist where you would take your submarine after you scope out an island to this island, which was completely separate from GTA 5's Los Santos Island. So it wouldn't be too surprising if you could actually book a ticket on an airplane, or maybe fly your own if they let you.
A yacht or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and actually go to GTA 6 online if you.
Yeah, especially if you have you have to have purchased GTA 6 in order, and then that be your ticket, if you will.
Exactly.
Well, it'd just be like it unlocks that area.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting if they actually did that.
Right.
So I pulled this because I thought, obviously this would be pretty interesting to not only reference, but it would make sense. If we think about all the three main locations that Grand Theft Auto Rockstar has sent us to, San Andreas, Los Santos, Vice City, and Liberty City, it would make sense that the next game on their list of things that are redone, remastered, whatever, would be Vice City next. Grand Theft Auto 3, its next gen parent, as it were, would in fact be Grand Theft Auto 4. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, technically the fourth installment in the franchise, they got redone with Grand Theft Auto 5. So for Grand Theft Auto 6, it would make sense for them to go back to Vice City.
If they decide to go back at all.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, it is the 6th installment. I would join them all.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, just have a massive map.
So the next question that they had on their list was, what will this GTA 6 story be? And, the whole article kind of goes back and forth touching on the same questions that they're asking, but it was in a Reddit leak that they're talking about going back to the 70s or 80s, featuring a male protagonist whose drug lord wannabe named Ricardo.
Why can't we have a female?
Another key character is Casey, is part of the narrative. I don't know, to answer your question.
Maybe.
And they talk about being smugglers from Vice City to a South American area before making connections with the big-time drug lords. And you're making your way up.
Making my way down.
Allegedly, you meet a younger Martin Madrazo, who will make an appearance, who is potentially the main character's father. So all of this is pretty much centered around this unconfirmed data of these two locations.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Because, I mean, all of our people have been males.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age of where you're actually getting a lot more female characters out. I'm not understanding why they wouldn't push a female character.
But it's still possible. These are only just like leaks, if you can even call them that.
This is all
Unverified.
hypothetical.
Yeah.
Super hypothetical. So what has Rockstar said about GTA 6 on record? We don't know what GTA 6 will be, but we've got some ideas. We've got about 45 years worth of ideas we want to do. We'll pick the right ones. It comes from the ideas first. Where is it going to be set is the first question. That then defines the missions. You're doing different things in LA than in New York or Miami. The map and story get worked on together, and the story is a basic flow of how it works out, so you can layer the mission in. Of course, Benzies, the president for Rockstar North, didn't give much away about Grand Theft Auto 6. Will take and left Rockstar North in fairly acrimonious circumstances. However, it's unlikely that the Rockstar will rip up GTA series' tried and tested development process, where building a world comes first, with characters and structures layered on top. And then, of course, GTA 5 was created by 1,000 developers.
Yeah, I can. This is my problem. Like what I said before in one of our last. Until the hardware gets upgraded, a lot of these games are just, same stuff with a different skin. Yeah, you're going to add little features here and there, but it's just the same thing. And that's really what I think we're lacking right now in gaming is the role-playing. Or not really the role-playing, but also the massive online. I think that's the reason why, like, when they actually saw the server and they're like, oh, people are... let's try doing something like that to where people can actually live in this world and still, be part of the game and stuff like that. I think that is a step in the right direction, but I also think the hardware needs to be there too, to be more integrated with it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, kind of Ready Player One. I mean, but Ready Player One's kind of like a mix between like a lot of the stuff nowadays. Like, if you read and watch a lot of anime, there's a lot of stuff out there with integration,
Sword Art Online.
Oh, dude, I read that I read that manga, and like the anime does it somewhat justice, but it's just like, all right, where's this at? Like, I know we're almost there. I want to be alive.
There.
Yeah,
Get
I want to
me
be
in there.
alive.
Right?
I want my PlayStation 10. Want nanites, all right? Shove them up my nose.
So obviously one of the other killer questions was, we know this game is big on consoles. It was released on the Xbox. It released on the PlayStation 2 when it was GTA 3, 360, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox PS. The list goes on. Is it going to release on the PC? Obviously, the first, yes. Anything that you release on a console, damn well is going to work tenfold on a PC. It's pretty clear that at this stage, that GTA 6 will be a PS5 and Xbox release, especially in light of the upcoming GTA 5 Next Gen post for the console and PC. However, whether a GTA 6 PC port will be released at the same time as its console counterparts isn't quite as straightforward. Both GTA 5 and 4 both eventually made their way to PC, so you'd hope that a GTA 6 PC port also happens. It's not, it may not have a simultaneous launch, but that extra bit of polish and development time has paid off so far, so hopefully PC fans are willing to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there is just, we saw what Cyberpunk did, and we don't want to reduplicate it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with waiting, as I've been on the record multiple times saying that. Then again, I do play console, so I won't have to wait for that specifically, but I'm still of that mindset.
Oh, yeah. So did anybody else have anything as far as this particular topic is concerned?
No, I mean, like I said, I thought there was a 6 had already been released, and that's why I was like, what?
And that's what happens when
this one's a classic.
Yeah, that's
It
what
just got
happens
released.
when you have all these like games broken up into two pieces. Because it can be confusing. A lot of people see Grand Theft Auto Online, they're just like, GTA 6, and they're satisfied with that.
Yeah, that's
Then
what
you
I
got
thought
Call
it
of
was.
Duty with Warzone, released with Modern Warfare, and then continued on with Black Ops Cold War, but it's still the same one, just inherited kind of.
Yeah.
So the next article I have, if anybody remembers anything I've ever talked about, is that Xbox has established that it's putting all of its eggs in the Game Pass basket. Xbox has established that Game Pass is the thing it wants to do. And for a lot of companies, they've seen this Game Pass as a very positive thing that, they don't have issue with it. Well, unfortunately, there are companies that do take issue with it. Speaking of Grand Theft Auto 6, Take-Two CEO doesn't want new games on Game Pass. Doesn't really make sense for frontline titles. What? What do you mean?
Focus desktop.
Oops. Oh, okay. Well, now I gotta change the size of that. Take-Two CEO doesn't want the games on Game Pass. Our views remain unchanged. We think a subscription model can make sense for it. Yeah, here you go. I'm just gonna give that to you. Can make sense. I lost my place. God damn it. But it really doesn't make sense for frontline titles. For any business model to make sense in the entertainment business, it has to work for the creators of the entertainment as well as the consumers of the entertainment. I think catalog can make sense for publishers. It can make sense for the consumers who are avid, who really want to access a lot of product. But if you're getting into frontline product, then the economics are much more difficult to make sense of. So that first paragraph, he's pretty much saying, yeah, if you've got people who really want to play a shit ton of games, like for 1 hour they play Overwatch, the next hour playing Assassin's Creed, the next hour they're playing Battlefield. Yeah, a Game Pass model makes sense. But if you have people like Take-Two who make a game here and there, it doesn't make sense economically for the publishers and the people making the game to have their games on Game Pass, where in turn you might actually be losing money on the deal. Consumers who are involved in the interactive entertainment have different consumption patterns than those who are involved in linear entertainment. Linear entertainment consumers consume something like 150 hours of programming a month. That's probably well over 100 different titles. In the case of interactive entertainment, consumers are consuming something like 45 hours a month. And that may be 1, 2, 3, or 4 titles, but it's certainly not 100 titles. So from a consumer point of view, it's not clear that a subscription model really makes sense for the bulk of consumers. So essentially, he's trying to then, at that point, illustrate what he meant by his previous comment.
I think I agree with him like about 50%. Because, even if you're a developer that only makes them some of the time, it's not so much whether or not it makes sense for you to be a part of the subscription, your games that is, at all, so much as how much time is reasonable enough to where you can make some money selling your game and not, piss off your clients, your customers by doing what was it, Halo 4? Mm-hmm. I think 1 month after it came out, it was already $20 on sale or something like that.
Yeah.
Let alone selling or releasing a game and then maybe a month later dropping it on Game Pass, like stuff like that. Whether or not it's, hey, we'll wait a year and then we'll do it. That way, people actually feel like they got what they paid for. I feel like it's more of a balance, because I have been enjoying the subscription-based stuff, because I play a game for a little while. Oh, golly gee whiz.
The electronics side.
Yeah, playing a game for a while, and when a new one comes out and everybody wants to switch over to it, instead of having to buy a new one, I've probably been spending, $15.99 every month for the subscription service, and it just has been making sense lately. I've been playing a lot more games than I normally would otherwise. And a lot of my friends and other people I've talked to while playing have agreed largely. I haven't really heard anybody say that it's that bad. And if they really don't like it, then they could just do games with gold, because that's still running last I checked.
Yeah.
But yeah. But again, for those that don't make that many titles, yeah, you want to make some actual money on it before you just ship it off to the subscription base. But it's about how long you have it on there, or you don't have it on there. So that way you're not pissing off your customers. Because I hated that with Halo 4. That jaded me a fair bit, because it's like, had I known this, I would have definitely avoided. It wasn't that important to me.
And Halo 4 wasn't even that good of a title.
I didn't want to get into that because I'm focusing on the subscription base. But, yeah. There's a previous episode all about Halo. check that one out if you haven't already.
That's coming out this Friday.
Well, when this one's not dropping.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay tuned to this week's episode.
There
Yeah,
we go.
pretty
There
much.
we go.
Okay. Crisis. Hopefully, I'm gonna stop touching shit. Get that away from me.
The coaster didn't help you?
No, and I forgot that it was sitting right there. So, anyway, he continues to say that remains to be seen. We're open-minded. We have made catalog titles available for subscription services. Very occasionally, we've made frontline titles available as well. But we do see this more as a catalog offering than a frontline offering. Moving on to my next topic before, I give Doc a fucking aneurysm. How do you guys feel about McDonald's?
McGriddles are delicious.
Yes.
The food or the company?
Yes.
The food is, passable for the price. The fries are awesome, of course. McFlurry, when it's actually able to get it, is enjoyable. Though I still have a cut on my mouth from like a week ago. The spoon got me. So beware of that. That thing is sharp. But yeah, the company itself, I can't say I like it, but I'm hungry, so.
I was technically employed.
I was waiting for you to
Yeah,
answer.
I was doing some work.
I'm sorry. I forgot the cup was there.
I was technically employed by them for a while, and I got 0 hours, and then they called me on Mother's Day at like 5 in the morning. They're like, "Hey, is Mike there?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's me." They're like, "Oh, hey, you're supposed to be here at work." I've been trying to go in for like a month, trying to be like, "Hey, what are my hours? What are my hours?" Because I hadn't had a job for a while at that point, so I just needed something. And he tells me I'm late to work, and I'm like, "Yeah." I basically told him I'd been trying to get hours for like a month, and yeah, I quit. Because I would have literally gone in, known nothing, and had to do. I should have gone in and gotten paid just to do training, and then quit that day.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But I
So,
had plans for Mother's Day, so
Yeah.
That reminds me of my last job. Actually, it's not McDonald's related. I won't bore you guys with it.
what about Microsoft developing products for the gaming area?
Microsoft or McDonald's?
McDonald's, I'm sorry. What about McDonald's
Okay,
making
what?
I was
products?
like, you mean Xbox?
What?
Like Microsoft kind
What?
of does that.
Anyway, I'm so
He's
fucking
pretty
tired.
distracted from
Yeah.
dropping water everywhere.
I'm very
Hey, you
extensive.
need to cool off.
McDonald's making gaming crap. How you feel?
Well, they've done that before,
Before,
basically. I don't know if they outsourced it. They probably outsourced it in this context. But, yeah, they'd have the little toys. What was the last one that they
No. I'm talking specifically making items for major video game consoles.
Are you saying that wasn't major video gaming at the time?
So anyway, what do you guys think of that?
I wouldn't get it.
It's probably greasy. I don't know.
The image on the screen actually goes back to a McDonald's PlayStation 5 controller that someone had actually created, but because it was either not sanctioned or it wasn't
Licensed.
approved.
Copyright issues.
Yeah.
A bunch of other stuff. McDonald's says there is no commercial relationship between McDonald's Australia and Sony PlayStation. So it was quickly backtracked and taken away. It sounds like this controller will never be made, which is a shame, as oddities like this are great collectibles. Maybe McDonald's would have better luck approaching Xbox, which once worked with Burger King to release 3 different games, including a stealth title called Sneak King, which pushed players to sneak up behind people and surprise them with burgers and breakfast sandwiches.
I remember that.
Me too, unfortunately.
I didn't play it, but I remember when I remember seeing videos. of it.
Microsoft, I believe it was, also worked with Doritos for the Doritos Crash Course.
Uh-huh.
I actually currently have that installed on my Xbox One X because every now and again I still like going back to play it. It was actually pretty fun.
Everyone has a sex box but me. All right.
Oh, wait, did I say series?
Yes.
No, you said Xbox One X.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, whatever. On the flip side of things, how do you guys feel about Xbox and Microsoft making...
Things for the game.
Yeah, making good gaming.
I kind of think that's what they're
I've been
what they're there
positive.
for.
Yeah, I wish they made more Xbox Series X's, and that they did something about scalpers, or somebody did something more about scalpers. But I am positive about Xbox.
Yeah.
So this is their latest creation out of controller, and it's inspired by the Halo Infinite release. The image on screen details needler accents and Halo S-type feel to an Xbox controller. It's a wireless controller, looks like a needler, and we needler it.
Get out of here.
So,
Well, not
real quick before you go further, the needles on that. First thing I thought was monster.
yeah.
Right.
That's
Like
the
a
first
claw.
thing that popped into my head is like the bottom end of the M on for monster.
Oh, I didn't even. I was thinking like a monster, like actually like a monster claw, scratching it, and that's like the energy underneath or something like that. And then I noticed it was more of a needle.
That's kind of the Monster energy drink. Logo.
I know, but I didn't like make that connection.
Yeah, gotcha.
So going back to what Zach said, they did have a McDonald's video game for Genesis, for Sega Genesis.
Oh,
And I know the games you were talking about, the old 8-bit where you go dee 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 dee.
The handhelds.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're happy. You proved me wrong.
I was like,
I look
knew they
forward
were
to
the
these
mobile.
moments.
That was the original mobile gaming.
yeah,
Tell
it
me,
was.
prove me wrong. Prove me wrong,
Well, Game Boy actually came out during.
bro. You really make. Come on, man. That was for them.
Well, I destroyed him. I have to destroy you now.
All right, you don't have to do it.
Destroy is
why
a
do you think I'm
strong
quiet?
word. While not every design makes it to the storefront, this Halo controller is available for purchase. For those interested, this custom design pins and needles Xbox Series controller is available to buy. I actually forgot the website name and I should have grabbed it. This particular needle or tribute is expected to ship later this month. If you want any more Halo goodness, check out, that just goes back to their stuff. But this was an article from Game Informer. Actually, this one and the McDonald's one are from Game Informer, and then Games Radar is the one for the Take-Two CEO.
Now, if they made that controller for the
I see it,
Xbox
jackass.
Elite Series 2, oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Really expensive though.
Oh, so apparently there was also one on the Nintendo. And oh crap! Hold
Okay. Anyway, while Doc's looking that up,
on. Only those two systems.
I'm sorry, did you?
no, I was gonna say, does anybody remember it was back in like when there were actually floppy disks? Another thing y'all can Google. There was a Mr. Pibb when it was actually called Mr. Pibb game. We were a student in school and there were zombies. Anybody remember that one?
Vaguely.
I think that was a different timeline, and you're remembering something different.
Like, someone
That's
stop him, he's a
quite
variant.
possible. Okay.
I
Anyway.
remember the honeycomb game though.
I do remember the Honeycomb game.
Oh, we're getting so fucking sidetracked.
Gaming news. It's
First
just
F
old
word.
news.
Fortnite. So this goes back to the Fortnite debacle with Epic versus the Google Store versus Apple. Apparently, Google reportedly considered buying Epic. Google at one point considered buying Epic, which means to squelch the game company's attempts to circumnavigate the Android Play Store, according to newly unsealed court documents. It was first reported to The Verge. Epic quotes internal Google correspondence, which calls Epic's plans to get around Google Play Store commission a contagion threatening the tech giant. This pretty much goes, all of this stuff pretty much illustrates that Google wanted to buy Epic, and they didn't want to add their stuff to they didn't want to add their stuff to the Android or Apple Store, but Epic was also trying to apparently find ways to get around Google's Play Store.
Yeah, so
Everybody
this one
wants the money.
I had heard a little bit about. It was basically the same thing that's basically the same lawsuit with Apple that they have with Google. As far as what they did is on Android and on Apple they had it so it was buy V-Bucks through Epic Games for, I'm just going to make up prices, for $4.99, or buy it through Google for $5.99, or it was like a 30% differential. Basically, they're taking out what Google would make, and that was their way to get around it. And as soon as they did, it went live shortly thereafter. They took it off of there, and then there were still ways you could download it onto Samsung or like Google devices. Android, yeah, and thank you.
I got you.
Android devices, but you had to go like to the Epic website, download a Fortnite launcher and all that stuff, and I think you still can.
Yeah, you'd have to install it through the APK, something like that.
Actually, I think I still have Fortnite on my phone.
Oh, nice.
This was unbeknownst to us at the time, and because of the court's protective order, we're just finding out now about Google's consideration to buying Epic to shut down our efforts to compete with Google Play, Sweeney tweeted Friday morning. Our manager contacted Epic's vice president and co-founder to gauge Epic's interest in a special deal and, among other things, discussed, quote, the experience of getting Fortnite on Android via a direct downloading. The manager's call notes state that she viewed direct downloading Fortnite as, quote, frankly abysmal and, quote, an awful experience, and that Epic should, quote, worry that most will not go through the 15 plus steps. I don't know what any of that means, so Mike, at any time, if you want to let me know what you read or if you know anything.
No, I just checked if I still had Fortnite on my phone. I do. So like I said, you had to go to their website, download. I think it's been a while since I've downloaded it. It's been a long time since I've played it on my phone. But I don't think it was 15 steps. I think that's just an exaggeration. But you had to, like I said, you had to go to their website, download a Fortnite launcher, and then download Fortnite, and then all the other stuff you had to do.
The document goes on to explain that future Fortnite updates will be challenged, retargeting update experience via the web. That the direct downloading approach was, quote, most associated with malicious apps, which would be incompatible with Epic's brand or demographics. The approach will create significant user confusion since Google Play will still attract billions of users who will search for Fortnite and run into dead ends that aren't clear how to resolve, Epic says. So, Mike, if you have another comment on that. Because, I'm not too familiar with Fortnite's, like...
I'm not too familiar with it on mobile. I just check in the Google Play Store. It is still not on there. But you can, like I said, go in and download it. At least I think you still can. I haven't tried to re-download it or anything. But you have to go to Epic's website and download it through that.
Well, I think you had to do that because I know on my Samsung Galaxy, that was the way to do it, and you actually had to update it separately from the Google Play website or the Google Play. So I think it's still the same thing.
Yeah, that's what how mine is right currently. But I'm sure that update would be massive because I haven't played it in years on my phone.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it does take a lot of effort, and that is, as they were talking about, very seen like synonymous with like viruses and stuff like that. There's a reason why usually it says, hey, this is a third-party app. Are you sure you want to download it? But, I mean, this is Epic, so.
Yeah, don't do it unless it's a trusted website.
Unless you absolutely trust it, yeah.
So we're now getting into the portion of my news that I found from this week that kind of ties back into a lot of the stuff we've now been talking about when it comes to Blizzard Activision. And the first couple of articles are going to hint at other companies facing similar stuff that Blizzard Activision has kind of...
is dealing with.
Thank you. Words, not work, help. A studio called Open Roads and their co-founder steps down following toxic workplace allegations and issues a statement. Fulbright co-founder Steve Gaynor has departed his position as creative lead on the studio's new game Open Roads following allegations regarding the company's work culture. A new report from Polygon shares a deeper look into the, quote, toxic work environment at Fulbright, following shortly after the game's Twitter account showed a notice of leadership change. The official Open Roads Twitter account offered a message to fans about Gaynor's change of position. Quote, we are a small team passionate about making an inclusive, poignant, story-driven game that gives the players a feeling of discovery, begins a social media post. We care deeply about creating games that have a positive impact. We are also fervent believers in fostering a work environment that is healthy and collaborative, where we can work with transparency, autonomy, and trust. So I know what the next slide is going to say, but as far as this slide is concerned, this pretty much a lot of what I found very positive about the Me Too movement was people were very confident telling their stories, and people were having issues running away from it, running away from, you know, these kinds of issues. You know, Steve Gaynor, you know, he's departed, he's changing his position, but the stories and everything else are still following him. And that's a little bit of the beauty as far as justice is concerned. As such, Fulbright's co-founder Steve Gaynor has stepped back from his role as creative lead and manager and transitioned into a role as a writer, handing off day-to-day responsibilities to the team to complete Open Roads. We're all excited on how the game is shaping up, and we hope you will follow along as we continue to share our progress. Immediately after the post went live, Polygon's report also became public, sharing a closer look at what led to the decision behind the shift. In the report, the site began stating that 15 developers have been working on Open Roads since its development in 2019. I read that wrong.
15 developers have left their positions.
Since, oh my God, I'm going to skip that sentence. 12 out of those 15 with Polygon citing Gaynor's actions and behaviors at work as the reason. So, yeah, he's leaving, but there's a reason why other people already left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More specifically, the former employees have come forward saying that most of the alleged behavior that led to the departure has been directed towards women. Without going into too much detail on that, yet another company whose pretty much workplace handling, I kind of see this as, oh, this is supposed to be a fun environment, I can get away with this stuff. Well, not everybody finds that funny. It turns my stomach to think that he will still get to write these games about women's stories when this is how he treats them in real life, with presumably no signs of stopping, one former employee said. I want women in the industry and the studio to feel valued. I want vulnerable young women who are new to the industry to be supported, not preyed upon. I want women to not have a fear of retaliation from a powerful, quote, auteur figure for speaking up. I want women to feel safe here. I want women to know that this is not normal. More than anything, I just want him to stop. He shouldn't be allowed to keep getting away with this. So, did anybody have anything that they wanted to?
No, I mean, I pretty much agree with what being said.
It is very unfortunate, and unfortunately, like he's not even stepping down and leaving. He's just giving day-to-day responsibilities up, but he still is making money at that place that he's caused all this damage at. And I can't imagine that does anything positive to their brand. But he's a co-founder, and so he can succeed at that. But whether or not they sell enough or sell a bunch of games, we'll see how the public feels about this after hearing about it.
Gaynor has now addressed the allegations with the following note. Hi all, I have a statement to share about my role at Fulbright. Earlier this year, I stepped back from my role as creative leads in Open Roads. My leadership style was hurtful to people that worked at Fulbright, and for that I truly apologize. Stepping back has given me space and perspective to see how my role needs to change and how I need to learn and improve as part of a team, including working with an expert management consultant and rethinking my relationship to the work at Fulbright. I care deeply about Open Roads and the Fulbright team. I'm sad to have stepped back from day-to-day development of Open Roads, but it's been the right thing to do. The Open Roads team has my full faith and support as they bring the game to completion. This is what
I was going to say. To me, all that said is, hey, I'm going to step back, and as long as things don't go critical, I'll eventually be back to where I was. But when I'm there, whether or not I'm going to either actually reform or I'm just going to be more intelligent about it, to be determined.
Yeah.
That's all I heard from that.
Yeah, it sounds like he's like, I'm going to just step back until everything washes over and then.
Yeah, this goes back to one of my comments I make when it comes to situations like this. You weren't sorry that you did it. You're sorry that you got caught.
Specifically.
You're awfully quiet over there.
I'm just looking up news on Marvel and DC.
He's still upset about the water.
Yes.
I said I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Don't be soggy about it.
$600 later.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're going into Activision Blizzard. I wish I had more cheerful news, but unfortunately a lot of this stuff kind of came out of the news as stuff coming up. And for me, Activision Blizzard had a lot of stuff to talk about and address. Diablo Immortal has been delayed to the first half of 2022. And I'm just going to let you guys kind of read over the topic, but I've already read this. The reason they're giving is because they want to make sure that the PvE content is more engaging and the PvP is more fine-tuned. They want to work with, quote, a key collaborator to make sure that the game and all the challenge rifts and everything, PvP, PvE, is pretty much immaculate. They're giving the cyberpunk excuse. They're going that route.
Yeah, it's a load of crap.
It is a load of crap because then later in the article, they notice that this delay is also coming amidst Blizzard having to deal with the fallout from the California lawsuit that alleges Activision from fostering a culture where sexual discrimination and harassment were far too common. So, Mike, you can probably parrot this I know in the way that we're thinking, but not in that way. So, but if we know anything about, say, government entities and how they discipline and stuff like that, this is not being delayed because they want to, quote, improve the game, improve quality, work on PvP, No, a shit ton of people that were working on this fucking project just got shit canned or they just got named. So now they have to go out and find new developers. Yeah. That's what I read from that.
Well, I think what they're doing. Well, that's a possibility, but what I think it is they're waiting for everybody to kind of. I mean, I hate to say this, but everybody to go on the back burner, and everybody kind of not remember that there is this whole thing happened, and they're going to wait till it washes over, and then release the game because everybody's not going to remember Activision Blizzard, the sexual harassment headquarters of wherever the hell.
Right.
Yeah, that way it doesn't.
I was going to say, as a famous person once said, all publicity is good publicity.
Right.
Yeah, but them knowing about the game, I think Diablo's popular enough for them to not have to resort to sexual harassment to get its name out. But they're.
I don't know. We don't know their Matrix anymore.
Right.
They stopped releasing them a few years ago. It could be tanking.
I think they're just trying to wait till the bad taste in people's mouths has time to either go away or at least you to get used to it. And then, oh, well, that sucked, but, whatever. Diablo, instead of it being in the moment where it's like, what? F these guys. I'm not buying that game I totally want just because I really want it, but I really want Diablo, but I'm waiting to see how this plays out.
Well, I mean, that's also one of the games I play is Hearthstone, where, it's still a Blizzard game, and it is that torn between people of where, this is a game I love and this is a game where, I understand everything in the background. It's to some people, it's hard to justify, like you want to support the people, but you also are trying to support yourself because sometimes people, this is their only outlet with things.
It's like if you found out that sugar was somehow actually invented directly by Hitler after you've already been like you
no,
enjoy sugar,
it's that's
but
extreme.
then you find out that this is he still has family and they're making money off every time you eat sugar. It's like, do I keep eating sugar or am I about to hit some splat?
Okay, you brought it full circle. Okay.
Yeah, I knew where you were going with that.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
give me time.
I knew where you were going. Yeah.
David started.
I'm very tired. Blizzard's head, continuing on with stuff going on with Blizzard. Blizzard's head of human resources. This is okay. So I don't want to give too much. This next article is actually freaking laughable because.
Can you just paraphrase it then?
Fine. Anyway, he leaves and they give some wackadoo description as to why he left. Pretty much that. They didn't give a name, but he became the second executive to leave the company in the wake of the recently filed discrimination lawsuit. And as reported by Bloomberg, Jesse Meshchuk, a company's head of global human resources, has now departed the company shortly after. Oh yeah, that's also coming up. Blizzard, I didn't do this in order. Blizzard's president, J. Allen Brack, has also left the company. Jesse Meshchuk is no longer with the company. but declined to comment further. There's been no official word regarding whether the departures of Meshach and Brack are a result of the Activision Blizzard taking action.
Oh, gee, I wonder.
Yeah, that's like so last year or the year before, there's a YouTube group that I watch, Yogscast, and they're a big WoW. They got their start on WoW, and within the last few years, there's been several accusations against one of the presidents, one of the several of the content creators and stuff about like them soliciting fans and all that stuff for pictures and meetups and all that stuff. And it, like, a lot of them, you know, are just like, all right, we're stepping down from this. And, you know, this other person was pretty much removed, and everybody's like, well, what happened? You know? And a lot of the other content creators were actually left from them because it was just like, you guys knew about this, and two of the people that are in charge of this didn't do anything about it.
It appears that Meshach deleted his Twitter account, although it's unknown exactly when that happened. He was not named directly in the lawsuit like Brack was. However, the lawsuit alleges that Blizzard's HR department was complicit in the harassment of the employees.
I think that's the reason why he left, because he was the head of it. He was either
he would have to take the fall, even if somehow, I'm not saying he did, but even if he somehow had no idea that this was going on or even tried to help, he's the head of it and he has all that responsibility.
Yeah.
So the Blizzard president, J. Allen Brack, is leaving the company. He's been with Blizzard for more than 15 years. I cut key pieces out of this, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Some guy named Ibarra is taking over Allen Brack's position because he joined Blizzard in 2019 after a long career at Xbox, and most recently served as executive vice president and general manager for the platform and technology for Blizzard. Jen and Mike have more than 3 decades of gaming industry experience between them. Moving forward, they will share responsibilities over game development and company operations. Blizzard said, both leaders are deeply committed to all of our employees to work ahead to ensure Blizzard is the safest, most welcoming workplace possible for women and people of any gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or background, to upholding and reinforcing our values, and to rebuilding your trust. With their many years of industry experience and deep commitment to the integrity and exclusivity, Jen and Mike will lead Blizzard with care, compassion, and dedication to excellence. You'll hear more from Jen and Mike soon.
You mean inclusivity, not exclusivity?
What'd I say?
He said exclusivity.
Oh, fuck. I'm tired. That's going to be the name of the episode. Gaming News, I'm tired. Brack said in the statement, I'm confident that Jen O'Neill and Mike Ibarra will provide the leadership Blizzard needs to realize its full potential and accelerate the pace of change. I anticipate they will do so with passion and enthusiasm, and that they can be trusted to lead the highest levels of integrity, commitment, and components of our culture that make Blizzard so special. You know what that statement was? You're going to read this word for word. Don't say anything else.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that was. They put a cue card in front of him, and that's essentially what they wanted him to say. Brack is leaving Blizzard to, quote, pursue new opportunities. So that's the biggest frustration when it comes to any of this kind of stuff, is that they get to leave with their experience and their opportunities in a way that their their victims, quote unquote, and I say quote unquote because, you know, it's still under investigation, don't get to have, kind of deal.
And money. Don't forget the money. There's a lot of it.
Well, honestly, depending the way that a lot of this stuff works, it's you're gonna, because a lot of them, since even though they've been they're leaving the company, they've been named in the lawsuit, so even though they're no longer part of the company, they're still part of that lawsuit, so they're still going to get hit for it. And it's the board of directors pretty much telling you, all right, you are now officially voted out, and you'll be stepping down. Here's a statement we've prepared for you, possibly giving you a stipend or something like that.
Severance package.
But even then,
that's usually into your contract.
Yeah, it's now, and that's probably he's also been, all right, I'm going to leave before I get really officially accused, because I think once that happens, then it would be, you know, in the contract would be like null and void.
Yeah, then certain clauses might be, or windows might be closed.
Yeah. So
That makes sense.
He pretty much, Activision Blizzard will hold its next earnings to call later today, August 3rd. So keep checking back with GameSpot for more context and information about this story. So Games Radar, GameSpot, Game Informer, they're all pretty much covering this Activision Blizzard lawsuit going on, as you know, anticipated. Activision Blizzard's investors now seems some investors asking for a plan and change amidst the labor lawsuit. So at first it was just kind of like this internal processy. Now the investors are going, dude, what's going on? Why isn't this resolved? Why what's going on here? Now we're starting to lose money.
well, and they're going to see that no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick opened a call with a statement that was similar to the public acknowledgement of the labor lawsuit last week. Quote, I want to start by making it clear to everyone that there is no place at our company where discrimination, harassment, or unequal treatment of any kind will be tolerated. Unequal treatment of any kind will be tolerated nowhere.
All right, all I got to say is, coming from a big company like this, that's just a statement.
Mm-hmm.
If that.
Yeah, that's just words. None of that stuff's going to be really enforced.
He could have sung the Dora the Explorer theme song, and it would have had more impact.
Yeah,
or meaning.
And the company I came from was like fourth in the big industry for a while. So, like I said, this is just a statement. Yeah.
During the call, Kotick added, quote, because our work cannot be successful with diverse voices, views, and talents, we made a commitment to consider diverse slates of candidates for all open positions, and will continue to add resources to ensure this occurs throughout the company. Over the past several years, we've made significant changes to address company culture, reflect more diversity within our leadership teams, and create environmental conducive. I'm going to skip that word.
Environments conducive to reporting any misconduct.
Thank you. We amplified internal programs to encourage employees to report violations. We've reinforced channels for employees to voice concerns in confidential and safe ways without the fear of retaliation. We're directing additional resources to our compliance and employee relations teams dedicated to investigating complaints. First off, that's what HR was for.
Supposed to be.
That's what no, that is what it's for.
It's what it's supposed to be for.
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but
I get what, yes, yeah. So the difference between a government entity's HR and this HR
Sorry about that.
is that a government entity's HR is there to protect the government. The private entity's HR is there supposed to be to protect the employees. You were about to say something. I feel it.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
However,
I felt you like take a, never mind. Anyway, so it just,
feel
this
your
was,
breath.
this was a platform that they were already supposed to have in their human resources department. So like, you're going to give them, is this you just saying you're giving them more stuff? Is there anything that you can show to back your statement here?
right? Like if he said something along the lines of, "We've changed the channels so that way the people who are that get reported to for HR stuff are not directly like you can't link that back to really anybody below a certain level in the company, because a lot of those issues are like, hey, you report up to you're usually supposed to report up directly to the next guy, or you have certain representatives, but those guys, they talk to their guys directly above them, and they're all at the same level. They talk to each other, and so it's like, oh, somebody just reported me. No, shut that down now. That's a lot of what you hear.
So this is actually going to tie into what I see Mike have over here.
Yeah. Well, hold on. So, yeah, with that, because that was like the one thing with us where even the guys that have been there forever was like, yeah, you report something to HR, and it was like, now you're getting a big backlash from it.
Yeah. Tony now knows because Sarah,
Yeah, and so it was just like, you just did your job and you dealt with the bull crap that was being told to you. And all I got to say is I found out that my manager's branch is no longer there anymore. And I was so happy because I was like, the stuff that I had to deal with him, it was just like, dude, you're a manager. Do your damn job.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Have one of those.
You do. I don't.
Oh, yeah, true. We've seen a lot of headlines about the lawsuit and employee concerns. Can you talk more about what you're doing, what you've been doing, and what you will do to address those issues? And then, just secondly, can you expand on any expected impact to productivity as you work through the situation, and do you expect any impact on the pipeline? So this continues a phone call between the chief operating officer and then this co-tech guy about what's been going on. And that pretty much what was just being said there. All he's given off the appearance that he's concerned for the well-being of the employees, but he's really concerned about the impact that it's having on shares and money for Blizzard.
Yeah. So while you were talking, I pulled up the Activision Blizzard stock, and it looks like they have, over the past month, it has gone down $11. It was up to $90+, and it is currently at just over 81. That being said, if you like, that's still above their 52-week low. That was 71, so it's a little over $10 above its low for the year. But if you look at the last 3 months or so, it's gone down about $13 and change. But so yeah, it's affected their thing, but not like I had expected it would. But that might be other things that people have going on.
Yeah,
I don't know the stock market that well.
With the stock markets and shares, the investors care more about the money than the morality. It sounds bad, but this is just large reality because, these guys, people having millions of dollars into the company, that could be bad, but it's more about how that bad's going to affect me as opposed to, this needs to change and they need to do it well for their clients and then consider, or not clients, their employees, and then work on actually making the brand profitable.
Well, I mean, and also I can see that a lot of people, because we know that eventually they're going to bounce back from this.
Oh yeah.
Eventually.
And so it's going to be the point of where all those people that are probably selling now, there's going to be those people that buy because they're going to know that eventually after this lawsuit, they're eventually probably going to have to pay a lump sum of money, a couple $1 billion. But once everything kind of blows over within the next year or two, they're going to be back up to what they're doing.
Yeah, they're probably having their own. They're basically having their own mini COVID time where it's gonna dip and then people are gonna buy and it's gonna shoot right back up.
Yep.
Buy the dip. Not financial advice.
Yeah. Additionally, several shareholders have filed a class action lawsuit against Activision Blizzard, citing that the current conversations have, quote, economically damaged potential profit in the future. This verbiage is, unfortunately, the language of many and money talks with a publisher like Activision. You can see the full legal documentation files right here and learn more about the class action lawsuit proposition. Obviously, the links are going to be in the Strike Team Gaming Discord for you guys to check out. But yeah, shareholders care about money. Yeah, they put on a farce, so they put on a face, so it's pretty much not the employees, but they're there to make money. That's why they're called shareholders.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this one right here. I mean, this isn't a class action lawsuit against how, because as shareholders, you're technically part owners of the company. So it's not like, they've been hurting our people, basically. It's what you've been doing, more specifically been caught doing, the act of getting caught is going to damage our profits. And so we're suing you in face of those damages. It has absolutely nothing to do with the people. It's that they got caught. The language is right there.
And then lastly, I hope this is last. I counted wrong in my head already twice. Activision Blizzard says that, quote, people will be held accountable in the wake of a law. I mean, just off that headline that I saw, Fucking, I hope so.
right?
Like,
I
what?
think we only get one of those F-bombs.
Oh, no, there's two.
Oh, okay. All
We're
So,
already past it.
right.
Oh,
I freaking hope so. I mean,
right. I lost count.
what's the alternative here?
That's how our government is. That's how everything is. They do everything to say, hey, look, we're doing something right. But in the long run, it all is for show.
It's theater. They're being held accountable, but to what extent? Like, people stepping down. Yeah, that's technically being held accountable, but not to a degree at which I think any Tom, Dick, or Jane would say is like reasonable or even vaguely sufficient.
Yeah, because that's the thing is they still hold shares in this company. They still so once it bounces back, it's just gonna make them profit. Now they're just not gonna have to do anything for it.
Yeah, there's I remember I think it was a few years back. I can't remember which company it was, but one of the people who had to step down, they actually had to sell all their shares. They weren't allowed to keep any of their shares. It was a president or CEO of a company. I can't remember what it was, but like that's the only time I've ever heard of a punishment like that. The vast majority, if not, I'd be willing to go as far as say almost all of these types of step downs. They've never, practically never been required to relinquish any control or shares that they had in the company itself.
Pretty much.
I think that should be like required.
Yeah, liquidate all their assets with the company.
Yeah, you have to get out.
Yeah.
So during the call that was previously mentioned in the last article, it was said that I want to reiterate that the commitments that we have made to you, our work environment, everywhere we operate, will not permit discrimination, harassment, or unequal treatment. We will be the company that sets the example for this in our industry. He emphasized the company would be investigating every complaint and claim and would take, quote, decisive action. Now you want to take decisive action. Now you want to look into it.
Now that it's public.
Now that it's public.
Yeah. That's how this all works. It's like you guys have been saying, oh man, look, I got caught. Now I'm gonna take action for it.
And I feel really bad about being seen doing this.
Yeah, and I'm just telling you that really. That's what it stems down to.
It really depends. At this point, we kind of have to see. I believe that they're going to do this to a certain extent, at least for a little bit. Because they can't afford to have other people come out saying, no, I've been doing this and sending these reports and I have not gotten any feedback. But I don't know if they're going to keep up with that for very long. Hopefully. Fingers crossed, but we'll see.
All right. Does anybody have anything else that they want
to? Since we're talking about Activision Blizzard, and I think it was the president or whatever that deleted his Twitter account. Mm-hmm. Also, one of the executives.
It was HR.
Okay. So Fran Townsend, one of the executives at Activision Blizzard, also deleted her account. But she posted an article or retweeted an article talking about the problem with whistleblowing.
I would be really interested in hearing how you defend that title.
So,
why you're the issue?
Her Twitter has now been deleted. I don't have the details on the article, but that is
that's rich.
And then the other thing that I have is on Halo. The download size has been leaked. It just disappeared.
I'm guessing over 2.
97.24 gigs.
Okay.
I'm going to go get a hard drive dedicated just to that.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's because, like, I think Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, right now is sitting over 170 if you had everything downloaded, like everything, not just because you can select, hey, I don't want Warzone, hey, I don't want zombies or campaign multiplayer, whatever. Yeah, I think it's sitting over 170 right now. So Halo is subject to change, and it's only going to go up.
Yeah.
Like Blizzard stock, unfortunately.
And then also Take-Two has 3 unannounced remasters or remakes in development. No details as to what they are, but some people are hoping it's Max Payne. And so, yeah, that'll be something that'll be interesting to see. Also, we do talk about remakes and remasters. I don't know why that's the episode I always end up plugging again, but we do have 2 episodes on that. They're one of some of our earlier episodes, so go ahead and check them out. And that is all I got, I do believe.
So the one thing I have for Marvel that's like really I'm looking forward to exploring the multiverse with new characters with the what if content. That was actually a comic book series that they did for a while, and it was like, what if Deadpool killed the universe or the Marvel universe? What if this? What if that? It was a really good series, and now that they're actually transferring it to a animation, I am really looking forward to, especially with the poster of Agent Carter with the Captain America shield.
That'll be interesting.
I remember seeing that one.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of the Cap A shield because
Well-
she's got the Union Jack on her.
Yeah, well, she is British,
Yeah.
so
So she's Captain England.
yeah, she's Captain. I can't remember what her name is.
Captain UK.
And then this is an Iron Man one. Unfortunately, we can't show you because I don't have my tablet hooked up, which is really looking forward to. So this one in one of the trailers, Tony Stark is actually saved by Killmonger.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's start streaming August 11th, which is
this Wednesday.
Didn't let me get to the damn
Sorry.
point. And then I think that was the last one. Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to watch the trailers before they came out, they do start streaming this Wednesday. So I am really looking forward to this series. If you do have a chance and you do have Disney Plus, I really do suggest to watch this. Maybe watch Loki before this, though.
Oh yeah.
Because it kind of will lead in. I believe these are going to kind of lead into that. So,
gotcha.
And then the only thing I really have, I was just pulling it up. For Skyrim fans, I guess I'll say two things. One is that one I forgot his name. You shared a post about it. How they had 15.
Oh, the 500 mods.
Yeah, 500 mods, and that looked so amazing that if not Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 6 does not look like that. Or wait, are we on 6 right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls 7 does not look like that.
No. I'm sorry. The one
6 would
releasing
be the
is
one.
6.
I was right okay. If that one that's coming out next does not look at least that good, I'm going to be extremely upset and disappointed because that looked phenomenal, and it's obviously possible. A bunch of third party basically did it. But more specifically, talking about modding, there is a Skyrim modder who is going to be pulling more than 30 million downloads worth of mods. That's how many he has, 30 million, from Nexus Mods. So let me just find his name. Arthmores. That's the name of the user. He's going to be pulling his mods, specifically the ones that he is working on. I have an incoming call. I'll just ignore that. I was like, what is that flashing phone symbol? Sorry, Mom. I'll call you later. Yeah, so he's released a lot of mods, a lot of great mods. Had 30 million downloads on all of his stuff. Plus, he's pulling it because as of I think it was August 5th, so a few days ago, they made it so that way uploaders can no longer take down their mods, so they don't have that control. And that upset a lot of people, include specifically this guy who is, or girl, I don't know their gender, or in between or outside of. Trying to keep track. Yeah, they're taking it down because they don't want to lose control of their mods, which I understand. I'd be upset about that too. Specifically on Nexus's side, this was because they were implementing a new feature where to make it easier for load orders and like, hey, this setup works, so we've tested it and you can use it as long as you have the required specs on your device. They had these pre-packages so that way you could just, hey, I want this. And so to make sure that somebody taking down something important doesn't collapse the entire setup, they made it so that way, hey, if you put it up, we get to keep it. And so, yeah, a lot of people took down their stuff. This guy just happens to be the seemingly the top dog in terms of how good and how many downloads he has had. So pretty crazy. It's still available on other sites. I think the structure, the idea is a good idea to have the prepackaged mod orders, because that stuff can get pretty crazy. But to restrict it like that seems a bit excessive.
Yeah.
I think I personally would have made it so that way you have to put a request in, and it will be accepted. We just have to use that time to see if we can still run this without it, let players know. That way people aren't like starting to invest into it, and the next day it gets canceled, so you can't use any of the mods. Something like that.
Yeah, I actually like the sound of that, because then it gives that option of, hey, yeah, I understand you're having these problems or whatever, and, it gives time for people to uninstall that stuff, so then it doesn't corrupt their game.
Exactly. Or try and find another mod that can take that place, assuming it's not like a rare, or like a quest thing. But those ones shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, to replace.
All right.
Yeah, we wanted to thank everybody for joining us in this lengthy gaming episode that we have here. This is your gaming news as far as August 8th to 21. If you haven't already, please make sure you click on all the link trees down below to find out where you can find us and connect with us on social media. Anchor distributes this podcast everywhere that you hear. That's such a dick move. Anchor just fuck it. Thanks for listening. We'll talk. See.
Thanks for stopping by. Listen to us next time.
You can go to Anchor, where all of our links are at, or you can listen to the
Spotify.
In the description.
Links are in the description. Yeah,
in
this
our
is
link
a
tree.
mess. Just
Yeah, this wasn't as easy as it sounded.
We have links. Thank you for being here. See you guys next time, hopefully.
Yeah. I've been here with
Irishguy, aka Mike.
A grumpy, tired Game Boy. And Zmainia, a.k.a. Zach.
and this is Doc. Have a good night. Listen to our pre-recorded message.
Oh my god.